If you're given 5 minutes to enumerate, let's say, just about 5 great men, would you be hard pressed to do that? Would you easily churn off the numbers and the names and so on? Will those men be people in your circles, people that you interact, people who know you? Will those men be people in your family? Will those men be people in your community? Will they be people in your workplace? Will they be people maybe in your mastermind group? That's a very fundamental question for us to ask. But then at the end of the day, will you be one of those? Of course, you cannot probably put your name in there. And that's why we are discussing in these episodes, what can we do as men to rise to the fullness of the greatness of our glory, to be men of greatness, to be men of majesty and men of valor, men with a mandate. What can we be able to do in order to fulfill that kind of a vision? Let us look at one more way in this episode today. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the Life Signatures podcast with Lawrence Namale. Lawrence is a life coach, author, and keynote speaker who loves to tackle different topics on purpose, productivity, and resilience. His mission in life is to awaken all your boundless possibilities available in you. Life Signatures podcast is dedicated to bring to reality every single person who knows that deep down in their gut, there's got to be more to life than this. And now, here is your host, Lawrence Namale.
Alright, of course we're going to start with a recap here. It's a series we've been doing. In fact, this series is about personal glory. And in this series, we decided to go into a mini-series within the bigger series where we are focusing on men. But generally speaking, we're talking about man with his or her personal glory, with the way we were designed to operate. Are we living to the fullness of the extent of our glory? Or is it like what Miles Monroe keeps telling people? We hear people quoting Miles Monroe left, right, and center, day in, day out, that the greatest place or the richest place is the graveyard, because greatness is never exhumed or is never excavated and deployed in life, and people go to the grave with their greatness. People go to the grave with their glory. People go to the grave with their goods, their services. They go to the grave with their ideas and the things that this world would have benefited from. And probably it is true. The thing that you can talk about for man that is vast and that is available for every one of us, that is inexhaustible in nature, the resource is called potential, and it is from that potential that we can create our greatness. Let me tell you, you will never be great if you do not expand and deploy your potential. There is no greatness that's going to come into your life outside of your potential. In fact, greatness is an inside out kind of a thing. It's never going to be an outside in kind of a thing. I've just been in a WhatsApp group right now. And the group is a business group, of course. And people are talking about business. But the idea of business that these guys are championing is, guess what? How can I earn money out of it? They are not talking about transforming, as in the idea behind the business is not transformation, is not solving a problem, is basically, they're doing calculations of how much money can come in instead of looking at how much change can be created. My point is that greatness is within us. It is around us. It's something that we do inside out. It is not outside in. So when you're focusing on how much money you're going to make and so on, of course you gotta do that. But if that is your main priority, then you're gonna run out of grace. But I'm really digressing big time. The first thing we discussed, that if you wanted a man to be great, a man to rise up to the personal glory, to be majestic in the way they were created to be, that man has got to be God-fearing. That's the thing we discussed. You can go 5 episodes below, 5 episodes back, and you can just check it out and see what was discussed in there. It's debatable, but it is a point. The second thing is that the man has got to be knowledgeable, especially knowledge concerning himself. It is easy for us to have as much knowledge and as much information about the theories of relativity, the Pythagoras theorem, the biology, the physics, the chemistry, and so on. And the most neglected part of knowledge is knowledge about oneself. Knowledge about your ability, your purpose, your calling, your gifts, your talents, your passion, your ideas. That is the most important knowledge in my estimation. And the man who has clarity on that kind of a knowledge is poised to be a great man. The third thing we talked about is that the man has got to be a visionary, someone who sees ahead, someone who desires and plans and considers and reflects forward and knows or has an idea of what tomorrow or maybe the following day or the following week, the following month, probably the following 5 years and 10 years are going to look like or should look like. And I'm not saying here that we should have the information in our minds and in our brains on how tomorrow is going to look like. We should have information in our minds, in our brains, what we intend for tomorrow to look like. It is about intention. It is not about knowledge of how many degrees tomorrow is going to be like. No, it's the intention of what the things you're going to do tomorrow, the things you want to do, the things you desire to do, the things that you would want to see now that you are here in the first place. And the fourth thing we talked about yesterday was about the man being fearless. That was a very powerful episode yesterday, episode number 751. You gotta go back and listen to it. It's a very powerful thing. The man coming to the knowledge of his fearlessness. Where does fearlessness come from? It doesn't come from you having a big body stature and building your muscles and so on. There's a secret to it, and we discussed yesterday and say that the man who is fearless is a man of conviction, the man of belief, the man who has some values and some just cause that is following. That's why a small boy in the name of David can stand against a big giant in the name of Goliath, fearless, and take his head off. Today, I want us to discuss something that I think also contributes to the degree of a man's greatness in a major way. And it's simply this, that a man who is a trailblazer. Let me talk about that for a minute. A trailblazer is someone who goes where there is no path and creates one. The opposite is wimpy. And listen, I'm not talking that in a bad way, because let me tell you this. The more we conform to the things that have always been, the more we are not gravitating towards our greatness. Okay? Things have always been done the way they've always been done. We were born and we found them going on that way. That's fine. But in and of ourselves, with our uniqueness, there's got to be something unique, something new that our greatness brings on the surface of the earth, even before life, as life continues. In that we are not just conforming without question. I remember in primary school coming to an argument with some guys over something. I can't remember why it was. But for the life of me, I couldn't believe that they could not see what I was saying. And the argument was what the deputy head teacher had said. And I considered that what the deputy head teacher had said was not necessarily the truth. But these guys could not reason. They just did not want to reason in and of themselves. They just believed hook, line, and sinker what the person in authority had said. And I'm like, no, look. And the more I try to make these guys see my side of things, the more I lost them. My point is that a trailblazing man is some man who stands with conviction on something unique and something different, because they are different and they are unique in the first place. We live in a world where sameness is celebrated and people are actually winning and losing on the basis of sameness. In other words, we are mass producing each other and then we are picking out the best. And of course, there's going to be the best. There's going to be the worst and there's going to be the best. Why? Because people are different. You put people in the same kind of a system and you want them to be the same at the end of the day. It's never going to work. That's why we'll always have number 1, number 2, number 3 celebrated, and then the others are called number 1 from the bottom. And we laugh at them as if they don't belong and so on. A man is going to be a man of greatness, a man of valor, a man of majesty if he's a trailblazer. And a great man takes initiative. That's what I'm talking about. Takes initiative and says, hey, wait a minute, the river has always been moving like this. That's metaphor. It's always been going like this, but don't you think it can do like this? I mean, don't you think it can go? Don't you think it will be better? And the issue with initiative is that it comes from within you. That's what I talked about yesterday. It's authentic in that it comes from within you, right? Not everyone is supposed to operate the way that the world wants them to operate. And so a trailblazing man takes initiative on new things that are emanating from within. They dare to believe whatever is inside of them. They dare to believe what's resident inside of their spirits, inside of their hearts, and they dare to trailblaze. In fact, they are vilified. Yeah, we talked about this when we're talking about ideas, that every person who is an originator of ideas always are going to be vilified, and sometimes they pay with their very lives for the ideas that they're generating, and that's why they're great. They vilified the man who said the earth is not flat, it's round, and he's a great man today. So a man is going to rise up to his greatness because he takes initiative. He's a trailblazer. He's always alert and in protection, proactive in anticipation of change and also in anticipation of some danger that is coming. But he is ruthless in taking pragmatic initiative and in action. They take action. They are always wanting to take action, always wanting to change. Great men are always open to new ways of doing things. And that's why at times they will be the first ones to take change, to take charge, to take initiative, to trailblaze. Our women are so proud of us when we take initiative, when they see us taking initiatives and, bold, daring and following them through and bringing these initiatives to life. We have already talked about extensively ideas, knowledge, and how daring it is to take initiative and braving things and braving places, that we've never been there before. We talked about those when talking about ideas. But it's paradoxical because sometimes our women want comfort and they want certainty, and sometimes they will be the biggest opposition to a man of initiative because they don't want the nest to be rustled. They don't want the status quo to be changed. They don't want the certainty to be removed. They don't want the uncertainty to come, because initiative and trailblazing spells uncertainty. It spells darkness. It spells not knowing. It doesn't bring any assurances, so to speak. It is called fear of the unknown. But great men will be men of trailblazing, men who would understand the fears that are involved, yes, but they will want to answer the call they hear deep within their spirits that says, wait a minute, there's gonna be something else. Yeah, it's gonna be better than this. And they want to change, and they want to do new things, and they want to follow their passion and follow their hearts. Trailblazing, by the way, like I said, it's coming from the heart. It's not something that you just do carelessly, arbitrarily, because you've got to do it. So let us ask ourselves this question as men and as husbands. What have we done on a personal level over the past few years that has been trailblazing? What have we done? What have we initiated? Maybe in the past 1 year that has been trailblazing in nature. Maybe in the family level, maybe at a personal level. What have we done that is trailblazing? Because the more we remain dormant and docile, and we don't change, we don't do anything, don't take any initiative. No, look at your life. There is no new project There's no risk you've taken. I mean, there's no initiative you've started. Honestly, that doesn't count towards greatness. And therefore, the measure of our greatness to some degree is going to be to the degree of the initiative, the trailblazing that we have taken in our lives. And if there is none that we are taking, let me tell you, I don't think I can sit here emphatically. I don't think if there is no trailblazing, I don't think if there is no initiative, I don't think if there is no risking, I don't think that there is going to be greatness in us. Well, tomorrow we're going to discuss the last thing that is going to cause a man to be great. Until then, bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Life Signatures Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, subscribe to Life Signatures Radio on iTunes, Stitcher, or visit our website at lifesignatures.libsyn.com. Life Signatures Radio, fresh, clean, and inspiring.